Welcome to the Creative Content Club podcast with me, Naomi Rose. If you are a business owner who wants to consistently create content that connects and converts into clients, this is the podcast for you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let's get right into it. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're listening to. This is Naomi and this is the Creative Content Club podcast and it's episode number 21. I can't believe I've already got to 21 episodes on this. And if you've listened to all 21, even if you've listened to one, thank you. I really appreciate the fact that you listen to this podcast and I'd really love to know what you're finding useful, what your takeaways are. And what you'd like to know more about. What is it that you would really find helpful from this podcast? Because I'm always looking for what works for you and what will help you move forward in your business when it comes to content creation. Which leads really nicely onto today's episode is what to post when you've got nothing to say and you want clients. Because without clients, without making sales, without customers, we don't have a business. It's that simple, right? We were all in business to make a bit of money and live the lives we want to live. That's why we start our own businesses for the majority, because we're passionate about something. But sometimes we get to that screen, we've got all the ideas when we're out and about doing stuff, we're motivated, but then life takes over, business takes over, we're busy doing other things. And then it's 6:30 in the evening, you think, oh gosh, I haven't posted anything. And you sit there and stare and try and think, what should I post? And then maybe you might do a scroll on LinkedIn, Instagram, and still, you want to get inspiration. You want to think, okay, right, let's see what everyone else is doing. It just makes you more and more overwhelmed. And in the end, you give up and think, oh, well, if I can't think of anything good to say, I might as well not say it. It sounds familiar, right? We've all been there, even myself, who has 101 ideas for content every single day. So this is what I'm going to be sharing with you today, is how to keep showing up when you don't feel like you've got anything interesting to say or can't think of what to post or struggle with knowing exactly how to stay consistent without banging the same old drum again. Let's start with some really small things that you can do. Ask small questions that are impossible to scroll past, right? So these are the questions I put out on a story that I brought an air fryer. I have resisted for many years. I've owned a baking business, a cafe and bar. I am not a gadget person. Literally, my cafe had home range oven in it. I don't collect gadgets. That's not how I bake. I am a simple person. I don't have all the fancy gear and no idea. I don't like it. And I brought an air fryer. So I shared this story on my socials about the fact that I've got an air fryer and I feel like I'm cheating on my oven. I got loads of comments off the back of it because it was really simple, really straightforward, right? Air fryers have been a topic of conversation for a long time and I am way behind the times on them. It's so far behind the times. I have no idea how to use it. We tried cooking dinner in it last night and honestly I haven't got any idea. I'm not going to bang on about my air fryer for the entire podcast, I promise you. But if you have any air fryer tips, you know where I am because I have not got a clue. Anyway, I put this onto my socials last night and loads of people were commenting about their experience, whether they caved, all of that kind of thing. It made it really easy for people to answer. It wasn't complicated, but it was something topical. It was something that people could absolutely relate to. It wasn't supposed to be clever or anything like that. It was just that opportunity to really start a conversation with something that my ideal clients would have an interest in, would understand and be able to relate to. Even things like in the past where I've talked about tea, coffee, morning routine, all of those kind of things. Food is a real good common ground to ask small questions on, like phone calls, voice notes, text messages. Which do you prefer? I will send a voice note, but to get me to listen to them, I will probably do it on 1.5 or double time. If I see a voice note from someone I don't know, then I probably won't listen to it straight away. I'll be and particularly if it's over a minute, minute for me. If someone sends me a 4-minute voice note that I don't know, I am generally not going to listen to it and probably not reply. Apologies if that person has been you. It's just how I'm like, I don't have time for 4 minutes of listening to a voice note. That is how my brain works. I probably do have 4 minutes, but that's just how I am, particularly with all the noise going on. So these kind of things start like little conversations that your ideal client can absolutely relate to. So that's what we want to do. We're just starting conversations. So it doesn't have to be big or clever. It doesn't have to feel like really witty or really funny or the perfect post. Like something that people can answer in that case. Is the heating on yet? That kind of thing. The other thing you can do is find the common ground in every day. So a little bit similar to what I've just been talking about, but this is thinking about the small frustrations, the wins, the quirks we all recognise, that kind of the chaos of everyday life, like school run chaos, right? Or, I often talk about the experience of turning up to work with 2 different boots on when I was commuting, that kind of thing. 2 different colours, even different shapes and sizes. One had a heel, one didn't, but I used to get dressed in the dark. They're the everyday nightmares that go on. I was an hour away from home. I wasn't going back. I just had to own it. Life happens. But these little frustrations, people can empathize and connect with. They feel like they're not alone. You're finding that sort of middle ground that people can, like, my dog goes mad when the postman, anyone who comes to the door, like a couple of weeks ago, the chimney sweep was due to come really early in the morning. He condemned my fireplaces. So, actually, he condemned one, the other one he just passed. But these are little small conversations that we can all relate to in some way. We can feel people. We can understand how that feels. The small wins of your day, like, I love a bargain section in a supermarket, that kind of thing. Let those be conversation starters for you. So if you ever thinking, I don't know what to say, be small, because I don't mean be physically small. I mean, start small. Think of that little small stuff. I talk about being dyslexic, spelling mistakes. I might share something about if I'm doing what we call marking up music. So I have to bow sectional music. So all the cello section all have their bows going in the same direction. So as a section leader, I have to do that. We hire music, so we often get little notes from orchestras beforehand. So I share stuff like that. It's not about the business, but it's real and people can connect with that. So that's what we're doing, is we're building trust, we're building connection. And that's what people want to be around people they like, that they feel like gets them. So that's what we're doing here. I said earlier that you've probably, when it comes to content, you feel like you're banging the same old drum. You don't want to say the same thing over and over and again, but you can. Right? We have to get into the habit of being repetitive. Repetitive is what builds reputation. Reputation is what gets you known for the thing you do. And that's why people will absolutely come to you. So repetition helps brand awareness. It keeps you consistent. It also makes sure that you stay the expert. And actually, the thing is, most people won't even have seen what you've done before. And if they have, they probably haven't remembered it. And if they do remember it, they won't mind, because they know you, they trust you, and they know that you're consistent, reliable, relatable, all of those things. You will see my content. I deliver the same things over and over and over again. I talk about content all the time. I repeat loads. I am not saying anything different. And I have done this for, training teams, all sorts of different people over the years, for the last 20 years. I have done this same method that I teach today. I'm not changing anything. And yes, it gets a bit boring for me, but not for the people that are receiving it. And what doesn't make it boring for me is seeing the light bulb moments that people get. So some of my most engaged ones are the ones I have recycled, or I've taken a slight tweak and reused them, or I've change them into a slightly different format but says the same thing. Like, my content plan is built around weekly themes and topics that go across multiple channels. It's okay to repeat if it can keep you consistent. Like, build 3 months worth of content and repeat it and tweak it and do that and have a look and see what's working. People like familiarity. They like to know that they know something more than someone else, right? We all do. If you give them a little window into your world and you share something and people go, oh, yeah, I know that, they feel good about that rather than feeling stupid. Think about that when you're following people that you work with, or you like, you trust, or would love to work with, people that you look up to. How many times do they say the same thing? And how many times do you mind that they've said the same thing? One really, really helpful way to make sure you always stay consistent and have something to say is have content themes. Now, I'm going to put a note on content themes. Sometimes they're called pillars, and normally we have about 3 to 5 when we're thinking about our content. It's a really good model to have, but they're not rigid to the only thing you can talk about. Like air fryers is not one of my content pillars, even though I probably said more than I should and talked about it a little bit too much in today's podcast. I have 3 really clear content pillars that are directly related to my business. And then I have 2, which are music and dyslexia, that are absolutely personal to me, but they make me me. They make me who I am. And all of that is very relevant to my business. Like I teach various different methods depending on what I'm doing, but I might bring like my business themes, which are ideal client planning and content that sells. They are my 3 topical themes, and my themes have changed over time. Don't feel like, again, anything is ever set in stone. But I alternate these. I might bring different themes out if I am doing a launch. If I'm doing a launch for something specific, I might talk about things relating to that launch for 6 to 8 weeks, like really, really solidly for 6 to 8 weeks. And my personal themes come up when they're topical, like when I'm in rehearsals and concerts. When I had a really bad dyslexic week last week because I was so tired and I kept making stupid mistakes, and it annoys the hell out of me. I get so frustrated when I'm not like on it with keeping my like dyslexia in check. I know. That's my issue. I shouldn't be so hard on myself, but I am. It annoys me. I'm annoyed that I'm dyslexic. Perfectionism, if you're a perfectionist, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but my point being, these are anchors that we can use. We can always go back to, because if you know that these are the 3 business themes that are really relevant to you, the clients you want to work with, and 1 or 2 personal things, whether that's, and it doesn't have to tell everybody everything about you. It could be to do with the fact that you love cooking, or, family life, the fact that you're a Sen parent, or you have dogs, an animal lover, any of those kind of things that could be really relevant to who you are and why you do what you do. Because people won't, if, say, for instance, a client is thinking of working with you and they tell their partner about it, they probably won't start with, say, like, take me. It's, oh, Naomi, she does content, but she's also a musician. She's a beekeeper. That's the kind of thing that people will tell other people about, because they feel that other people will start to understand them as well, and they will feel that connection. So this is why we use these themes, so that people can see what's relevant to them. So I talk about storytelling. I talk about being repeatable and simple. I talk about how to understand emotional behaviors behind buying. All of these things are my themes, and I pick one of those and talk about one topic each week, and it keeps it so simple. I am so focused on being able to do it. And yes, it does get boring sometimes, but it's helpful, it's useful, and it's relatable, and it's consistent. You're not taking your ideal clients who are reading your content in 5 different directions all the time. Because if people don't get what you do and understand how they can work with you, they aren't going to work with you. It's that simple. People process information so quickly these days that they need to really know what you do and why you're doing it and how they can get involved with you. One other thing that you can do is talk about what's happening right now. So it could be something in the news, it could be something relating to your industry. Like, there are varying different topics that have come up that are topical that you can talk about. Like, even small things like, the coffee shops are probably launching their autumn and Christmas drinks by now. Christmas stuff is well and truly underway in the shops. All of those kind of things that are relevant to you that people will get. Anything that you notice, you can talk about, like, what's your favourite Christmas themed coffee? So obviously coffee is on my mind today. I feel like I've not had enough of it. But these are things that you can absolutely talk about and use if you're stuck for content ideas. Like, think about what's going on in your industry, in your news, in the world that you're like, what piques your interest on stuff, trends, things that are happening, changes in, like, sometimes I'll talk about the changes in Instagram, the fact that you have to have 1,000 followers to go live. And if you want to go live with 2 people, they both need 1,000 followers, which is really, really annoying. These are all things that you can connect with. It's something your audience are talking about. You're getting into their conversations. It's not directly related to business, but if it gets them following you, I'm all for it. And the final point, if in doubt, if you haven't absolutely, after all of that, still don't know what to post, talk about the weather, because we can all talk about the weather. It's the ultimate common ground. How often do we start conversations with either people we do know or people we don't know and say about the weather? Because it's a good way to warm up the crowd, right? It's how we get the crowd talking, and we start to kind of build that mutual understanding of each other's behaviours and who we are. So things like, I am in my heated blanket today. Fact. Like, I'm in my heated blanket until the summer now, but that will be what I'm wearing, and my Oodie and my fireplaces, and it's only October and it's actually not that cold, but that's what I want to do. So those are the kind of things that you can talk about, like quick, easy to write, people can comment on, engage with. Again, we're doing this to build rapport, build conversation, and so show that trust. So if you take anything away from this podcast today, I really want you to take away the fact that you don't need to overcomplicate it. Keep it topical, keep it simple, keep it light. You don't have to write the best post ever, every single time. A post about coffee, a post about the weather, talking about my air fryer. These are all things that people can relate to. And they do. The funny thing is, I know people buy off the back of these kind of content. They probably buy more off the back of this kind of content than directly from some of the others. Yes, when I put sales posts out, they do sell. But what I mean is, these are the ones that are building trust. And it's what's helping to tip people from thinking, I think I could work with her, but I don't know if I'm going to be the right fit. Am I going to get results? To really feeling like they know me, and that, more importantly, I know them. And that will be where the kind of the mindset will change to, I really need to work rather than I really want to. Don't worry about overcomplicating it. Keep it simple and keep it topical. And if all of this still sounds too much, come and work with me. Like, I work one-to-one. I do intensive working, but I also do other packages as well, because we can get this all sorted for you. And I love working one-to-one. I have limited space to do it, but I love it. So if that's something you would be interested in, and just for full caveat, my prices will be going up soon, drop me a message and let's see what we can create together. All right, lovely people, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you on episode number 22 of the Creative Content Club. Thank you for listening to the Creative Content Club podcast with me, Naomi Rose. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this podcast a review. If this episode gave you clarity or sparked a new idea, I'd really appreciate it if you could share it with someone else who would find it useful. If you haven't already, give me a follow on Instagram and come and connect with me on LinkedIn. And finally, don't forget to check out the show notes to take my quiz to find out exactly why your content isn't converting into clients. Thanks again for listening, and I'll be back again next week with another